He says, I wouldn't want to live in a country where the Prime Minister is able to appoint his personal lawyer as the Director of Public Prosecutions and then publicly instruct him or her to lay charges against his political opponents. But yet still, you live in a country where Anju appoints his so-called friend. But then I recall a current member of parliament basically stating that a Bruce Golding was a double failure. Blessings, ABR family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Isabel Rose. And in this one, CMU 50 million fraud case trial commences today, as well as residents are frustrated and upset at the HealthShare purchases that has been stalled for some 3 years now. And former Prime Minister Bruce Golding reflects on Jamaica's freedom. He says we are blessed, elsewhere as lost. Please stay tuned for the details at hand. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Just a gentle reminder, ABR family and viewers, as it relates to the Caribbean Maritime University fraud of some $50 million that occurred some 6 years ago in 2019. The accused, Ruel Reid, Mr. Pinnock, Ruel Reid's wife, his daughter, and a sitting councillor, Kim Brown, has to answer to the courts. A chief parish judge, Chester Crooks, ruled in 2021 that the accused has a trial to answer to. And so same commences today. As the day go by and I get information on same, I will bring you an update. But just know that the trial for the 50 million fraud at the Caribbean Maritime University should commence today. Now that the third term has loaded, residents of the HealthShare community in St. Catherine are ball out, them upset. And so they basically went and staged a protest over some long delayed completion of their homes. They're calling on developers to provide answers. The community is being developed by Right Solutions and the state agency, housing agency of Jamaica, that's the HAJ, after they made their down payment of some $1.9 million. The people them want them house Anju. And when we look back and we see a People's National Party plan and policy that states we need to get some affordable houses, 500 houses in each constituency, and we wouldn't have to pay for the land portion. Boy, me shake my head all the time when me see the people them coming out protesting, upset, frustrated. Me shake my head every single time me see something like this. But take a look and listen to what the people them say. Right now the people them basically say time come for to pay more attention to HealthShare development. Time come.
Yeah, so we made the deposit 3 years now, and constantly, every time they've contacted us, it's a promise about a date that is yet to come. We have about 4 different promises of timelines that have not been met, right? And we are simply tired of it now. 3 years later, they are telling us that we should give them until December to figure out what they're going to tell us December. We can't wait 3 years for you to tell us at this time that you're still thinking about what you need to do. After we've made investment, they gave us less than a week to come up with the deposit for this place. You understand? And it's been 3 years now and we are seeing no development, nothing. If you look on the property right now, not even a dog. You understand what I mean? So that is it. We are fed up. We cannot, listen, people are getting older, right? We have less times for our mortgages right now, right? A lot of things have changed, right? So we can't wait indefinitely for them to do what they are doing. They took our money to provide a service, and we're not seeing that service right about now.
What was the last straw for you guys?
Sorry?
What was the last straw for you guys posting you out here today?
They sent us an email about a week now, and quite frankly, that email was a slap to the face of us purchasers. It did not provide us with any tangible information as to when we are getting our house. It just said that they're still going through whatever they're going through, and they want us to give them until December to think about what they're going to tell us. 3 years now. It's unacceptable. That was an insult to us.
Calling on you to give us some answers. You have been too silent. You have been too silent. When we send our correspondences to the HAJ, you do not even give us the pleasure of responding. People have paid their money within 5 days. The deposits were paid. We're not people, so 1.5% and 10% to the same. Right? We need some answers, Mr. Honeywell and Doreen Prendergast. I'm calling on you specifically. Okay, thank you.
I'm told that letters were sent to the office of the Prime Minister.
Yes, right. Letters were sent to the office of the Prime Minister, and as usual, no response. No response. So we're also calling on the Prime Minister, Mr. Holness, Honorable Dr. Honorable Anju Holness. We need answers now.
So when we heard Lion Anju run out in the campaign season leading up to the general election and talking about some 70,000 houses that they promised the people over a 5-year tenure. From 2020 they promised that, and when we see him run out and talk about they have basically completed how much 10 houses. They said they have completed some 43,000 houses. But then we see the reality of the people them crying. The units them can't finish after how much 10 years. The people them pay them deposit. Still no house. Here in this segment now we seen our former Prime Minister Bruce Golding run out with his opinion, and same was published in the Observer. And it says, "We are blessed. Bruce Golding reflects on Jamaica's freedoms elsewhere has lost." And so when I read through this article, in some ways, I'm seeing him basically at throw shades, and I'm not sure if it's towards, the people or the country who ordered him to step down during his tenure as Prime Minister back in 2007 up until 2011. But I am going to read some segments that stood out to me as it relates to this article. And then, I somewhat rebut him. And he basically is speaking about the freedom that Jamaica has. However, he says they still have more struggles to overcome. Despite the progress we have made, too many still have to strive to make ends meet and stare at the gap between their hopes and the realities of their existence. Yet we have so many blessings to count. I empathize with those who gather daily in Ligani, St. Anju, hoping to be allowed the opportunity to seek a better life elsewhere, even though the elsewhere tells them in no uncertain terms that they are not welcome there. I am particularly blessed that I don't have to join that line. And so he's making, reference to the people who seek visas to go overseas. He says, "I wouldn't want to live in a country where the Prime Minister is able to appoint his personal lawyer as the Director of Public Prosecutions and then publicly instruct him or her to lay charges against his political opponents. But yet still, you live in a country where Anju appoints his so-called friend to the FID that is investigating or should do further investigations into his finances." What a thingy. He also said, "I wouldn't want to live in a Jamaica where hundreds of people who were convicted and sent to prison for violently storming Garden House in an effort to overturn the results of a free and fair election can be granted pardons, celebrated as patriots, and even appointed to senior government positions. But we live in a country where the election was heavily bought and paid for, and nobody comes out to say anything. He also said, I wouldn't want to live in a Jamaica where the Prime Minister can declare that the number of constituencies in certain parishes will be increased in order to ensure that his party wins the next election. But then we see where they were trying the whole gerrymandering of Portmore. But yet still, he lives in a country and says nothing. He also added, I wouldn't want to live in a country where the Minister of Health, with the full backing of the Prime Minister, declares war on vaccines that are scientifically proven to have saved millions of lives, and where political cronies are placed in charge of critical health surveillance and regulatory agencies. But we live in a country where the health minister is silent as it relates to 24 dead babies in one hospital in less than a month. I would be tormented to live in a country where statues of white slave owners are remounted and monuments to those who fought for racial equality, like Sam Sharp, are removed. It would be unthinkable in Jamaica for the government to dismiss the head of the Statistical Institute of Jamaica because it published data that doesn't find favor with the government and then replace her with a political operative intent on cooking the books to make the government look good. But we see what is basically taking place at the PIOJ. We've seen also what is taking place at Statin. We heard of this historic low unemployment, but yet still, persons who work 1 hour, people who work part-time are recorded as working. My God. He says, I would be offended if the Prime Minister of my country so frequently refers to the people he doesn't like as sleazebag, lowlife, slime, and deranged. But he does not have a problem with Anju calling people bad mind and nasty nigger. What a thingy. However, if you want to go and read the entire article, you can do so. But in closing, he says, Jamaica may not be paradise, but the elsewhere to which we have grown so much affinity is descending closer to hell. We are blessed indeed. During my time as Prime Minister in bilateral engagements with elsewhere, issues were often raised concerning our rule of law and practice of democracy, our systems of accountability, the independence of our judiciary and other institutions, freedom of the press, and gratuitous lectures delivered. My briefs urged me to be prepared to respond to them. Elsewhere dares not approach us with that again. We must count our blessings and give thanks and praise. I love you, Jamaica. That there was the opinion of a former Prime Minister, Bruce Golding. But then I recall a current Member of Parliament basically stating that Bruce Golding was a double failure in our country. And we're seeing he was ordered to step down due to some extradition process of a Dodos cook. And him lego a Anju Oates in our country. And after 2 terms, currently in a 3rd term, where is this great betterment or this great blessings that he so speaks of? You can talk about the great blessings because you get a whole heap, food pocket fat and full, but what about the common man? ABR family and viewers, drop your 2 cents on all of this and let me hear what you have to say. Do you agree with a Bruce Golding, yes or no? Drop that in the comment section, please and thanks. Remember to like and share the videos. It is free to do so. Help me get to 50k subscribers, please and thanks. Get this video to at least 10,000 likes. Please stay tuned for more videos, stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself.